And hello, welcome to this video of playing with .NET. It's again a series for .NET for total noobs. Like if you don't know how to code and stuff, and you want to do something with .NET, this is for you. Okay, so last video I showed you how to create new branches and push them to Git. So if you use git branch-a, you will be able to see the new Celsius temp converter. Alright, Celsius temp converter branch being created for the in the repository online. Okay, so that kind of concludes it. Just a note for you, branches are not just there for you to make different versions of the same file. It's more like if you have a team of coders that are working on the same file, the same code, or the same set of codes, or the same program, so to speak. If they want to develop individual pages or individual parts differently, then what they'll do is that they will make branches for each of them, and then when they're done, they will ask the main developer to merge their changes back into the main branch. Right? So that's just an overview. That was what branches are designed for, but I'm just using it in a different way. But in this case, I'm just using it to store different versions of the same code. So okay, now we are on test page here, an empty test page. We just cleaned it up the last video. Okay, what I want to do now is show you how to put buttons and forms inside. So two very good places to look are HTML forms here in W3 Schools, HTML form input types, and so those are some of the pages I'm using along with this ASP snippets. So let's show you how to code in a HTML form first. Okay, so I'll do test page vim test page.cs HTML. Oh, it's already here, it's open, so I'm not going to open. So this is what we have. This is the CS_HTML page, and then this is the code behind, so to speak, the CS code that's running behind it. Okay, let's make a form for you. So to do forms, you just literally do things like this: form and form. Okay, you do a form with two angular brackets and the /form to end it off, just like you have for your division, for your H1, your paragraph, etc., etc. Only thing you need to take note in this form, we specify a method called post. Okay, we specify a method called post. Okay, so that why is this method put in there? It's because it tells the HTML, okay, or it tells this .NET. I'm using very imprecise terms here. Usually when we have a post method, this will somehow tell .NET that it should look for a onPost method here. So what do I mean? Okay, so usually forms and buttons will be connected to certain methods and functions. So usually when you have a onPost method for this form, it will be linked to this onPost function. So that's how you sort of tell HTML that for this form, this is a post form, so post form should engage the onPost code. See, this is the post keyword, and it will engage this onPost kind of code here. Okay, so that's the basics of getting a form right. Next thing we want to put is a button. Okay, so a button is actually is a type of input in HTML. So you can see this form element. Okay, this is the input element where we sort of use it to create our buttons. Okay, we can have input tag. We can have many types of input like text and buttons. So I'm just going to show you the input which we have now. It is just for text. or yeah, so text and buttons. Okay, so I'll show you the first type where we have a box where we can write text. So we can do input, the type will be called text. Okay, okay, and then we have an empty like blank text box here with no enter, with no button to like really enter anything, so we can't do anything. And then the next type is input type of type button, or rather I just put the submit, input type submit, and this will give you a submit button here. Okay, the default is to submit query. If you want to change the text within here, you can actually give this thing a name, equals, and then you can equal something. Let's say I want to make a converter, so my name will be called convert. Alright, oopsie, oh, value, sorry, this should be called value, pardon me, value. Okay, so when I change the value here to convert, this text here will be changed into convert rather than just submitting a query. Alright, and right, how do you tell .NET or the C#, how do you tell the code that this submit button will trigger a certain function? Okay, so the special bit for .NET is this thing called the ASP page handler. So the ASP page handler here will tell you which on post function to get. So okay, for example, if I have an ASP page handler called convert here, ASP page handler equals to convert with a capital C. So what happens here? Okay, when you tell .NET that this ASP page or you tell the code that ASP page handler is this convert thing, it will go and look for on post an on post kind of function, but you'll specifically look for the keyword where it's named on post convert, so that when you click this convert button right here, it will trigger this it will trigger this function, and the function how the code knows it's which function to get is using this ASP page handler. So remember, this is a form method which is of type post, so that's one. The form will be a post kind of a thing, so the code will look for this thing called on post. And then which on post do you look for? If you have many submit buttons, or you have many buttons here, it will look for this ASP page handler. So it will specifically look for this on post convert. So every time you click this convert button, it will execute this on post convert thing right here. Or for that matter, when you press enter or anything, or yeah, it will just run this code. Okay, so that's one. Okay, second thing is, how then do you like display data right here? Okay, how do you display data, or how do you enter data right here? Okay, the thing to use the thing to use here is this thing called Request.Form. Okay, Request.Form. Alright, so when we do this on post convert, we will need to type in this Request.Form. Input equals Request.Form. Okay, and okay, Request.Form. So what is the, how do you know if you have many types of input here, how do you know which request form you're looking for? So the trick is to use ID and name to differentiate each of the forms. In this example, we have this block of code here. Input type is text, the ID is first name, the ID is text first name, the name here is first name. So usually when we start here, we need to give it an ID, so I will just follow suit whatever is given there. Text, well, the form I want here is temperature. I want this to be a temperature, and the name here will be equals to temperature. Okay, so this is what I'm looking for, and the specific thing I'm looking for here is this thing called temperature. Alright, so that will be it. Alright, okay, now it's complaining because the name input doesn't exist in the current context because I have not declared the variable yet. Okay, I have to put in the type. So usually when you type in text forms, the default input type will be a string. So this will be a string that is going to be put into this input. Alright, so how do you display this string? Okay, there are a few ways. Okay, one of the ways is to use this thing called view data. If you see this thing called view data here, view data title equals to some string value, right? So that using the view data thing will actually help you to, well, view your data. Okay, so let me demonstrate how to use view data to get this form input. Okay, so let's say I want to put this as the temperature. So I say view data, okay, view data temperature equals to input. Alright, view data temperature equals to input, and I need to display it somewhere, right? So I'll just display it over here at view data temperature. Okay, so let me try this. Maybe I put 893, and then you see 893 will come out here. I can put A, B, C, D, E, and I can also do that. It will just appear here with this view data. Okay, so this is how this forms and buttons actually work. Alright, so that was a lot if you have not learned HTML before. So just a reminder, what have we done? We did forms. Okay, we did forms, and then we did we gave ways for the excuse me, we gave ways for the user to interact with the form. Okay, so to execute a function, we use the submit button here. This input type is submit. Okay, there are many input types like text, submit, etc., but the type we use here to execute a function is called submit, and the type we use to enter text is this input type of text. Alright, and the main way when we click the submit button, okay, when we click the submit button, the code will look for this thing called ASP page handler to see which function I'm supposed to run. So if I have this thing called convert, and then it will also look for this method called post. So by looking at these two things, it will say, okay, I'll need to look for on post convert. Alright, so the correct function is on post convert. So clicking this button will run this function here. So when I run this function, what will I do? The first thing I'll do is I will declare a string value called input. Okay, so string input equals to something. So what's this something? Is the Request.Form. Okay, so I need to get data from my form, right? How do I get the data? I use this Request.Form method or function or whatever. And what will I do? I will specify an ID on name. So in this case, the name is the name is temperature. And when I say the ID here is temperature, I will look for the input types where the name over here is temperature, and the ID is the ID here is txt temperature, text temperature. So that's what this thing will actually look for to get my string value. Alright, so when I type a string called you rock, then I just press enter and it will say here you rock. Okay, great. So this is the basics of forms and using them in a Razor page. Of course, there are more the way people normally do it is using something called property binding and stuff like that. But that's if you're just starting out, this may be a bit advanced. It kind of needs you to understand a lot of things beforehand. But doing things like this it's a relatively simple way. You just make a form like this. You tell the user to put in two types of input, and then this input type will run this on post convert function, and the other input over here, which is a text input, will help you to will give you some text data which you can retrieve using this Request.Form function. Okay, and then this Request.Form function can be put into a string, and to display it we can use this view data kind of way of doing things. So view data temperature, for example, will be defined as whatever this input string is. Okay, and then after that it will just it will be displayed right here. Okay, alright, so let's see. Okay, so yeah, I'm doing things pretty fast if you're doing this the first time, so do take some time to take a look. So okay, I will stop for now, and yeah, do take some time to review all the concepts here, which I'm talking about forms and submissions and all that kind of thing. In the next video we will try to we will work more on this thing. Alright, see you.